welcome to Cross My Heart Ministry. I'm Laura McFarland. It's Monday, so our regular subscribers know that on Mondays we get in the kitchen or get around the house. We offer an organizational tip or a recipe. And so today that's what I'm doing. I'm offering up a recipe, and this one is for taco chicken soup, and this is crockpot style. So these are for those busy days when you just want to throw it all in the crockpot and forget it and come home and find your dinner already. Now, this is a big recipe. I sort of looked at some different recipes when I sort of created this, and I almost doubled it when I put it together because I wanted to use full cans instead of half cans. And so at any rate, it makes a lot, and if you want to only do half as much and half that recipe, you can do that. I like to make a whole lot because as you know, I love to freeze it. I love to have those freezer containers in there, knowing that I can pull it out for a quick lunch or a meal or what have you. So who doesn't like taco soup? It's just almost comfort food. When it's winter time and we still have those crisp days, it's just a delicious meal. You can throw in some tortilla chips and some sour cream and some cheddar cheese and just make for a delicious meal. I love serving soup because it's all kind of in one pot. Now, I am going to put the recipe below. You can download, click that link, and have your very own copy. And my little editor, Anna, would want me to tell you that if you are blessed by today's recipe or blessed by our channel in general, it is a huge blessing to us if you would click that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, a huge blessing to us. We all sort of applaud and celebrate when we see a new subscriber. And if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and just leave a comment. I'm going to try this, or I did try this, or this sounds delicious, what have you. So all those comments and likes just are an encouragement to us to keep on going. Well, you know that on Mondays, it's Martha Monday. We get in the kitchen, we offer something practical, we're around the house. But on Fridays, we get before the Lord Jesus Christ. We get into the Word. Cross My Heart Ministry exists to encourage women to love God and to love His Word. So if you click on the Bible study links or you click on Words from the Word, you're going to get a devotional or a teaching video. Right now we're teaching through the book of 2 Kings. But if you click on those, you can find teaching lectures where we teach through a book. We start at chapter 1 and we teach through a book. I love to study. I love to study and teach in an expository fashion. And so there are teachings there. There's a short one if you just want to try it out. Sort of 3 sessions on 3 different Psalms. We have 2 of those with 3 different Psalms in each one. We've got 1st and 2nd Samuel, the parables, Romans, 1st Kings, and now 2nd Kings. So we would love for you to try those out. And then also there's our Write the Word resources. But anyway, today, back to taco soup. Now, if I were going to have this recipe, I would use my Pampered Chef crock pot. This is called a rock crock, and I love this because I could brown all of my onions, saute my onion in this on top of the stove, and then it goes right into this base. But because this recipe makes so much, it would be all the way up to the very top and I would make a mess. I wanted to mention this to you because I just love this product so much. And if you do decide to have it and you have a rock crock, you can do that. Or maybe you would like to get one of those. But today I'm putting it in my big super duper crock pot because, like I said, I'm going to make a whole lot. Now, this recipe is so fabulous because you dump it all in here and then you absolutely forget it. So I've got the recipe here for you. This is what it looks like when you download it. And we're just going to jump in and get started. The first thing you're going to do is saute a large onion and 6 garlic cloves. So I've already done that. I've got that in my pan since this doesn't go on top of the stove. So I sauteed that off camera because I didn't think you would want to watch me chop and saute onions. But this is all done and ready to go. The recipe calls for 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil, so I did put that in the pan. Sauteed all the onion and the garlic in the olive oil. So that's in there. Then we're going to add a can of diced green chilies. Move this out of the way and get this opened up. So Diced green chilies are also in my green chili enchilada recipe. If you haven't tried that one, we can put the link to that below, but I love that recipe. It also freezes very well. You know, I talk about that a lot, but I love having dinner in the freezer for those busy, busy days. So there's the green chilies. Those are in there, okay? Next thing is 42 ounces of salsa. Now this big honkin' thing has 47 ounces. I'm just gonna dump it all in. If you don't have salsa on hand, or if you want to just use some diced tomatoes, whew, that's really tough. Let me see if I can get a little pad. All right, I'm back. My little trick is to always take a little end of a can opener, and if I can get it under there and kind of pop the top off, it'll loosen it just enough to where I can open it, and there we go. Okay, so if you don't have salsa, or you don't want to use salsa, you don't have it on hand, I recommend 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes and 14 ounces of diced tomatoes. But I'm just going to dump all of this salsa in here, if I can get it to come out. There we go. So there that goes. Okay, there's my salsa. Then we're gonna do a can of Rotel. That just is gonna give it just a little kick. You notice I like to dust the tops of my cans every single time before I take the lids off. It's just a habit. Sometimes I'll just line them all up by the sink and rinse them off just in case. So the Rotel is gonna give it just a little kick, a little more flavor. Just gonna dump those in. And see, this is just so great. We're just dumping and going as we go. Then we need our spices. So this calls for 1.5 tablespoons of ground cumin. And that adds just a delicious flavor. So there's that. And then another 1/2 tablespoon. 1/2 tablespoon is also 1.5 teaspoons. You probably knew that, but just in case. Get a little heaping. And then it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder. Now, I just always keep this Williams chili seasoning on hand. This is what I use to flavor my good old standby chili when I make it. And so I just use this if the recipe also calls for chili powder. It's a little bit of a doctored up version, but so delicious. I don't make chili unless I have my Williams chili mix. And I think you can buy it in a packet. But because I like to use it so much, I just get this big tall thing at Sam's, and it's a little more economical. So we've got that. Then it calls for 8 cups of chicken broth. So I had to go back to the store and get another one because I just had one big container and I needed 2. So we open up both of these. Now, in a pinch, if you're out of chicken broth, you probably know that trick to just use a bouillon cube with a cup of boiling water, and it's not as healthy, but it will work in a pinch to keep you from having to go back to the store. I had to go to the store anyway, so checked my pantry before I made this. I had one thing of this on hand and just decided to go get the other one. So the chicken stock base just gives it a little bit more flavor instead of just adding plain old water or something. I'm gonna get this stirred up a little bit here. The next thing is 2 cans of black beans. And so I'm going to get this stirred just a little bit here. See if I've got something to use as a spoon rest. Okay, I'm back. I have in this colander 2 cans of rinsed black beans and 1 can of corn, all rinsed and drained and ready to go. And so I'm gonna put this in. Sometimes, every time I make this, I wish I would remember to put the corn and the beans in first so they don't kind of splash, because the pot is getting really full because of all of that chicken broth in there. But we're getting close. So this is really almost full to the very top because it's going to make a whole lot of soup for us. The only other thing left to add are the cilantro leaves and the chicken breasts. And I want to kind of show you the chicken breasts that I picked up. I usually keep some frozen, and I had to run to the store anyway, so I just grabbed some fresh ones. But even they were a little frozen, and they were super thick. So I love this little handy dandy Pampered Chef device to split your chicken breasts. It just makes them cook faster. And so I have already done this one. It was a big old thick one. Then I thought, well, maybe you would like to see that. My recipe calls for 4 chicken breasts. So see how thick that is? So I just want to kind of get it done sooner. So I'm going to just use this little deal to slice this baby in half. I love this little device. So I had a Pampered Chef party a few years ago and picked this up, and it's just been great for splitting things like grapes, if you just want to slice them in half for salad, or chicken breasts. And the cool thing is it goes in the dishwasher. And this knife also goes in the dishwasher. My regular good knives do not, but this one does. And so I always use it when I cut up this chicken, so I don't have to take the extra care to wash it and get all the chicken stuff off. So these are halved. My little pot is getting very, very, very full. And then one more chicken breast. These are so big, I think I'm gonna have more chicken than normally. The great thing is some recipes call for the chicken to already be cooked and shredded before you put it in, but this one just lets the chicken cook, and so it just eliminates that other step of baking or cooking your chicken. So that's just another part of the fix it and forget it sort of mantra here. So it is right up to the edge. So I probably maybe should have held back on a little bit of the chicken broth or that salsa, but it'll cook down and it'll be delicious. And then the last thing I'm going to put in is the cilantro. I love cilantro. I have a friend that detests it, and so if I'm making salsa or something when she's coming over, I always have to leave the cilantro out for Sandy. But I love it. I love recipes that call for cilantro, so I went ahead and picked the leaves off, threw out the stem, so this is in here already. And I am going to just cut it up with my kitchen shears a little bit. Cutting those leaves up sort of releases the flavor a little bit and just lets it permeate through our soup. This is going to smell so good. I have a very full day today. I have a couple of appointments. I need to pick up a prescription for a woman that needs my help. I need to go get my teeth cleaned, just several little errands. And so this is a great recipe to put in the crock pot and then just have dinner ready for you and your family when you get home. And like I said, lots of it left to freeze afterwards. So I'm just going to drop all this in, give it a little stir, put the lid on it, and we are good to go. That came together very, very quickly. I hope you see that and it inspires you to give it a try at your house as well. So like I said, it is full and running over. Definitely a wise choice to put this in my big old pot, of course, and to use it. I'm gonna grab the lid and put on here. I'm gonna plug it in. Now, you can cook this on high for 4 hours or on low for about 6 to 8 hours, and watch it, everybody's crock pot is just a little bit different. But what we're gonna do is pull the chicken breast out when it's cooked long enough that it should be done, and check it. Even use your meat thermometer if you want, but cut into it, make sure it's done, and then go ahead and shred the chicken and put it back in there, heat it back up again, and then you're good to go. And just serve that up, like I said, some tortilla chips, cheddar cheese, sour cream, whatever you would normally serve, and dinner is on the table, quick as can be. I hope that you'll stay tuned and come right back. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to wait about 6 hours and come back and let you see the finished product. For Cross My Heart Ministry, I'm Laura McFarland. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. Okay, well, welcome back. I have had a full day of activity, and I'm so happy to come home and smell my soup just permeating throughout the house. It's just great to have had a long afternoon of errands and know that dinner's in the crock pot and all ready to go. So all we have to do to wrap up my chicken taco soup, crock pot style, I'm going to take the lid off here of my crock pot, and you'll remember we just threw those chicken breasts in there. I didn't pre-cook them ahead of time, so I had 4 chicken breasts in here, and I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to, and I did cut them in half, so it's going to take, I'm going to do them a few at a time. Oh, I didn't put on my apron, and now I'm making a mess. But anyway, okay, I'm going to take the chicken breasts out just a few at a time. I've got my little Pampered Chef chicken shredder little deal here, very sharp, but it sure does make it easy to do the chicken. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my little Pampered Chef bowl here and sort of do this little number. And it just sort of is an easy way to shred it. Now you can use a knife or a fork or whatever, but I just love this little gadget. It just makes it super duper easy. And you can shred it as much as you want. You can keep it more in chunks, or you can shred, but this is just a really quick and easy way to do that. So I got those done, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my tongs and get out this great big piece here. And I'll get that done. I'll just do them a few at a time in my bowl and get this shredded. And remember, after the chicken is shredded, you just stick it back in there and give it a stir. It's ready to go. Since it is taco soup, for taco soup night, you can sort of put out a bowl of some shredded cheddar, some tortilla chips. If you want to get fancy and make some little quesadillas with some burrito shells, you could do that on the stove and make it fun. You want to have some sour cream to go with it. Maybe there's something else you can think of to add. If so, leave me a note below and let me know what you would serve alongside this. If you were serving this for dinner tonight with your family, but I am just going to have just the plain old soup. I'm trying to eat a little healthier, so I'm not gonna add anything to it. It just looks so good. I'm gonna go ahead and do this last little bit of chicken, and then I'm gonna dump it all back in there. I think there might be a chicken breast or two, but I just wanna finish the video so you don't have to have the boring part of watching me shred and chop up this chicken. I kinda like it a little chunky. It seems more hearty when you don't just have shredded pieces of chicken, but full pieces of chicken. So let me go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this last chicken breast. I've lost track of how many I've pulled out from how many I put in. You'll remember I used 4 chicken breasts, but they were so thick that I cut them in half. So I may have overdone it on the chicken, but my husband always jokes about his favorite joke when we buy canned soup is always, this soup makes my eyes hurt. I'm like, what? The first time he got me, and now it's just been repeated. It's like a dad joke. We know it. He goes, yeah, I'm squinting so hard trying to see the chicken in here. So you will not, my husband's eyes will not hurt trying to see the chicken in my soup, because I was very generous, especially since I not only used the 4 chicken breasts, but I used those big ones that I sliced in half. So I'm gonna get all this put back in here. And remember, this makes a lot. So I'm going to freeze this in individual containers, 1 big container for a family meal and then some individual ones for lunches. So it makes a whole lot of soup. You do this once and you've got several meals or some make and take meals. So if you want to make a smaller amount, you can just easily half that recipe and call it good. So I have my bowl out here. I'm gonna go ahead and serve this up and try to bring it over closer to the video so you can see it, but oh, it just smells so good. And it's so healthy for you, all those vegetables and the chicken in there. The salsa just gives it such a delicious flavor. So let me come over, let you see hopefully what it looks like without me like tipping it up. I'm not sure it's gonna work, but there we go. So anyway, that is my chicken taco soup crockpot style. I hope you'll give it a try for a delicious and nutritious meal for your family at your house. For Cross My Heart Ministry, I'm Laura McFarland. Thanks for spending this time with me today.